We're ready to start the October meeting, and Clay is going to introduce some of the new members.
Yes, I want to introduce Sam. Where's Sam? Sam is a guest, and so if you have a chance to introduce yourself to him, tell him about your photography. He's here to learn.
Take a microphone and you could just tell us a little bit about what you.
Oh, okay.
Hand him a microphone.
The other people that renewed and joined, we have Bill Ham, who's no, I thought it was Bill. He's renewing, right? I can't think. Okay.
Okay.
And then
I was going to let Sam just tell what kind of photography he does.
No, that's right. John Long is another member, and then John I forget his last name, but we have a new member named John. Now, Sam, your turn.
Yeah, is this okay? It works. Yeah, hi, I'm Sam. I like to do macro and also landscape. Yeah, and I like hiking to my landscape subjects, and I have yet to try doing macro on something that likes to move. So maybe that'll be the next hurdle to get over.
What kind of camera do you shoot with? What system do you shoot with?
I shoot with Canon.
Canon.
Another Canon user. I have coupons. If I haven't given you one, I can give you a free small Slurpee drink. Did any of you go to a National Night Out program on Tuesday? Yep, it was the first Tuesday in October. So that's a big thing in Pflugerville, and the police go to different neighborhoods, and I work with a neighbor to sponsor one, and it was fun, nice. So thank you, Ed.
All right, so a few announcements up first. At our next meeting, Laszlo Perlicki is going to give a presentation, Softies to Imaginations, Creative Close-Up Photography. Going to give some ideas of some different ways to do some close-up and macro type photography that's inexpensive and stuff. It sounds like it might be some new techniques that maybe we haven't seen before. Then on the 5th Thursday, we're not having a meeting because it's Halloween. So normally on the 5th Thursday, we would have a meeting that we meet somewhere outside of here, and it's just a social get-together. But we're not doing it this time because everyone needs to be at home, dressed up, giving out candy and stuff like that. Next month, the competition is in the wild. And so now we've been waiting all year for all of us that like to take nature photography and pictures of birds. We won't get laughed at if we put in pictures of birds this time because it's really part of the subject here. So it's really anything nature related and in the wild. The one thing is that all the pictures, and this is true with almost all of our competitions except one, which is the oldies competition, is that all the pictures have been taken within the last 2 years. Then we also have a new competition that's going to be for our December sort of end of year get together where we have a potluck, but we're going to have a competition, but it's not a competition that's judged. It's only judged as People's Choice. And this is the Happy, Happy, Joy, Joy People's Choice Award. And so the idea is that you submit a picture. It still needs to be from within the last 2 years, but it's just something that makes you feel good. When people look at the picture that makes them smile or whatever, that's the kind of pictures we're looking for, and they're not going to be critiqued. It's just going to be a straight People's Choice Award. I've gone ahead and set this up to open tomorrow, so you could start putting pictures in through the middle of November, but then from the middle of November till our meeting in December, that's when everyone can vote. And this one actually will have a cash award at the end. Precision gift card will be awarded with this one. So look through all your semi-old, fairly recent, 2-year-old or newer pictures and enter one.
That's the question.
The question is, okay, so it's just like all of our others this time, one image that's from within the last 2 years.
Is there a date?
Huh?
Is there a date?
Last 2 years.
Yeah.
No, it has to be within the last 2 years. Two years. Same as all the others, but something that's but the idea is that it's just something that it makes people smile. Or you smile. I mean, maybe no one else likes it, but at least you do. Okay. There's also a field trip coming up on October 19th in a few weeks. And this is to go down to the painted churches. Gary will probably send out some more information about this. This has come through your email once. I just want to remind that we're trying to do this. We would meet in Pflugerville and then carpool down. And this is Schulenburg, I guess, which I don't remember. I know where it is on a map. I don't know what towns are near it. It's sort of in the middle of nowhere, but it's south of Bastrop. But this will be most of a day thing. It's going to be a guided tour that they take us and unlock some of these churches, and you can go in and take pictures and stuff. It's interesting stuff. And before we start this part of the competition, Verlin, do you have some stuff you would like to say about the jester?
So just, we have all the images. Those who have been selected have been notified. It should be at least one image from everybody who entered something. So if you put something in for this, you should be with us hanging on the 18th at the Jester Courthouse.
2 p.m.? 2 p.m.?
Uh,
That's what it says.
Yeah, 2 p.m.
Is it 18th or 16th? Because I saw someplace that said 16th. Be prepared.
prepared.
It should be the 18th because that's the Friday.
Okay.
And the Round Rock, other thing that Gary's a part of, has to take their images down by 1:30 and we're going up at 2.
I think some of the early messaging said we should have our images ready by the 16th. All of your labels to go up with your image, your artist statement to go with your work. Should be ready.
Speaking of that, there's probably going to be an email coming out soon about what you need to do for your artist statement and for the label, because an email that came out earlier said there'd be a follow-up email telling you about that.
I
So
owe
that's
the
probably
follow-up
soon.
email, Ty,
So that's probably soon.
and I will also put into some example artist statements and some YouTube links for how to use GTP chat to help you create your artist statement. So it sounds like an artist statement.
Right. So look for that email soon. That'll be coming.
Anything else?
Good for that? Okay. Now I need to switch hats from my presenter hat to my judge's hat.
Hey, Natalie.
This was an unusual
Bad
month. I
expression
was out of town at the last meeting, and so I was not able to get enough judges. We had 2 judges, didn't get a third in time, and I didn't have much time after I'd come back, so I'm doing this now. We're going to try something new also. We've had some people talking about the
Judges talk too much.
judges talk too much.
Too
So
long.
what I'm going to do is I've got a table topics timer from Toastmasters, and I've modified it so that we will use that for when we're judging. And what we're doing right now is every time during a competition, every judge is assigned at least one that they are in charge of doing a critique on, and the others, then we divide that up so everyone does a third of the critiques. So the person who assigned the critique, they have a minute to talk, and then the other 2 can speak up to 30 seconds. And many times, even, if we have 40 or 24 pictures and everyone was talking 2 minutes, then we were going over 2 hours. So this is what we're going to try. The first thing that I'll do right now is, as a presenter, I'm going to show you the pictures. This is the basic category. We have 2 pictures, and actually I can't read it. Can you read it?
Early morning light in Jedfley, Namibia.
Okay.
Round Rock Library latitude lines.
All right, so now we're going to go through those pictures. We only had 2 in basic this time. We didn't get as many images because a lot of people are out, and I wasn't here sending out email reminders, I think. All right.
Well, I'm starting off. My name is Clay Leben, and this is the first time this year I've judged, so forgive me if we get a little rough. But I have judged in the past, and as a basic photographer, I feel that we have, first of all, as judges, to recognize people who submit their photos for basic class. It's our smallest class right now. So let me just say that this image checks a lot of boxes for me. It's especially for composition and color. This is a basic class photo, not if basic, it's really not. It rewards the viewers extended viewing to find details in the trees and in the distance. The title is helpful for context. After viewing, I begin to feel the heat and desolation found in this desert image. It's more than just a colorful blue, orange, abstract snapshot, much more. And my question is the image manipulated in post? And is it too much? And
Perfect. Okay.
you're not gonna make a sound and go have a
This
heart
is,
attack?
this is numbers and it turns red and
See that
stuff.
Big red.
Oh,
Okay, so now I
All
reset.
right. I only have
Now,
one
you
sentence
have
left.
30 seconds to talk about,
To talk about it,
No.
right?
oh,
Yeah.
This is her.
this happens to be her picture, so
So,
she
I'm not gonna
she may
say
not.
it.
That means I get a
It was
minute.
amazing. No.
That means I get a whole
No, you
minute.
don't get my 30.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, I really like this image. There's a few things that, let's see, is that away? All right. So a few things that I would say maybe could be cleaned up to make it, improve it a little bit is like there's this little stick beside the tree there and maybe one of these little trees that breaks up this line, this diagonal line of trees. And I think that would maybe help the composition if maybe those had been removed, but otherwise it's very bold and looks lovely. All right, so now we got
Okay, this one was mine. The building had strong visual impact for me. A great job of an architectural photo. I thought there was clean, sharp lines, great focus and control of depth of field throughout. The black and white for me made it very interesting and impactful. I thought there was good control of the dynamic range, and the composition and the angles to me were very interesting based on the subject matter. If I had any concerns, they would just be maybe the cropping in the right side. There's some dark space there, and where the building ends is a little bit distracting for me. It looks like maybe the photographer tried to darken, I'm not sure. It might be problematic if he tried to crop it from there, so maybe that's why that wasn't done. But overall, I thought it was a wonderful photo. Thanks for sharing.
Thank you.
And do you want to comment on this one?
I just think it's a wonderful picture because I took it.
I keep thinking that there's going to be a chance to,
And I accept the criticism with gratitude. Thank you.
okay. All right, I also like this. I like the diagonal angles and I like the dots that are in the, I guess they're light fixtures that are along the top. To me, the area that maybe doesn't help is some of this sky, that maybe if it was cropped so that you didn't see as much sky and it really focused on an abstract with all the diagonal lines and the dots and stuff like that. But overall, you know, I'm also happy with it. I think it's a nice black and white. I'm always glad to see when people do black and white. All right, so now we will give you what the judges' consensus was for the one first place picture, since we only have 2.
And we had
And
arm wrestling too.
This is, would you like to say something about how you took it or
This was a
anything?
dead play. It was at daybreak. I actually didn't, I thought your comments on the processing were good. I didn't do much processing. We were actually out of town and I pulled it up and then I looked at it later and thought, oh my gosh, I could have cleaned it up. So, but it was very, I liked it because it was very dramatic there.
All right, and now the people's choice, and this is from everyone in the club can vote. And so silver goes to Clay. Would you like to say anything about how you did this?
Well, I want to encourage everyone to go on the meetup walks, the photo walks. This was a Round Rock Library meetup. And we took photos inside the building as well as outside. It's the Round Rock Library is brand new. So it has this striking new architecture, very, very nice inside as well. So just to encourage anybody to go on those photo walks, it encourages you to take neat pictures.
Right. And then the people's choice, gold medal, going to Leslie also. Okay, now we will quickly go through the 8 intermediate images that were submitted. And again, I can't see the names.
I don't know,
Ouray.
Ouray, Colorado. Dancing Monk, Bhutan. Green Blue Heron. Wrenching. Masters of the Air. Man on the Street. Golden Hour Flyby. Windows and Doors. Oh, that was
That's
it.
it.
Okay. So now we go through them again and we talk about them. And this first one is mine. All right, so I really like this picture that has some neat things composition wise, that it has a V shape with the trees that is mirrored by the V shape of the mountains. It has bold skies, which I'm thinking are original skies that were actually there, not replaced. I mean, it looks like everything looks natural there. And then you have this little town of Ouray all nestled in the middle. And so all of that seems to frame the little town of Ouray. And so I like that. The thing that I think could maybe improve the overall composition a little bit would be maybe change the cropping to an 8x10 and come in on both sides with the trees so that you don't have as much trees, but you still have the V from the trees that mimics the mountains in the back. I feel like that some of this, there's maybe too much trees in the front when the focus is the town inside.
Okay, I agree with your comments. I thought the color, great use of color, nice sharpness, good texture in the, I thought the texture in the clouds was wonderful. And great leading lines. I tend to agree that the trees were a little too heavy, and so reducing those would help.
And I'll just add that it's a very nice scenic landscape treatment. And as an intermediate class photo, I think it's decent, and it could be improved, as the others have said, to raise the standard a little bit and be more creative. A little more storytelling, I guess is what I'm saying.
Okay. So this one is.
Yes, the Dancing Monk, Bhutan. As I was saying, an intermediate class picture, we raise the bar over the basic, and it's a strong composition with the dancer caught in sharp focus at the peak of action. A very interesting exotic travel photograph. Photo shows excellent technical qualities. Eventually, my eye found the dancer's face after looking around at background and costume details. Perhaps colors are oversaturated and sharpened. Could the background details be blurred behind the dancer to help the viewer find the face quicker? A very fine storytelling, intermediate level photograph. Well done.
Good with our time. I agree. I thought this was a great capture of movement and emotion. I thought it told a wonderful story and the colors were vibrant and bright. I like the bright colors. I thought they were really nice. If there's any criticism I would have is off to the right side, part of that drape is kind of out of the picture. And so maybe the crop could could have been changed a little bit, but besides that, I thought it was a wonderful picture.
I'm gonna start myself so I get time too. I think that everything about it, I really liked the picture. The only unfortunate thing I felt like was this, which I thought was a sleeve. I don't know, but that it looks like it's going just off the end. If that had been captured in the picture too, that would have been ideal, but everything's moving. You don't always get that, but if there was a way that it could be improved, there's that. But I love the wet ground and everything. Very interesting.
Blue heron. Okay, this one's mine. I thought it was a beautiful picture of a heron. I love the colors. I thought there was great sharpness on the body, and the movement of the water added to the story. If I had any concerns, it would be, I think the head and eyes are not as sharp as the body for me. And the brightness and clarity of the body draws your attention and holds it as opposed to the eyes, which might take away a little from the photo. And it might be a little too centered also, but I thought it was a great capture for bird.
That's true.
And I'll just say again that we really appreciate the photographers who go out and work to make outdoor pictures and carrying all those big, heavy, long telephoto lenses, because this is a very, very nice picture to come home with.
Okay, for bird photography, a few things that could be done if it's not always possible, but what would be ideal is if you could get to a lower vantage point and not just have all the water in the background. If you could get to a lower vantage point that you're more at eye level with the bird, and that you might be able to see other stuff behind it, you'll get a better bokeh that way because there would be more distance behind it. But overall, it's a nice, great blue heron.
This one's yours.
This is, okay, so wrenching. I really like this picture. I think that I find it very interesting because it has all of these vintage wrenches. It really has strong light and shadow. I like the way that that it's framed with the light, that it has shadow around it, so that is a natural black frame around the main subject of these wrenches. And these wrenches look like tools that are actually used. You can see rust and grease and everything on them, but they're also so organized. So it seems like it's someone that uses tools, but takes care of their tools. The one thing that I think shows up a little bit is that this wrench maybe is it's a little bright on the jaws there, which draws attention to that wrench over some of the others that maybe if that were toned down a little bit, might have helped.
I thought this was an interesting photograph and subject matter. It definitely keeps your interest and tells a good story. I thought it had really nice sharpness throughout and definitely creates a mood. If there were any suggestions I would make is some of the dark areas, there were a lot of dark areas on the side, and that was a little distracting for me. I also wasn't quite sure where the center of focus was supposed to be. My eyes kept moving around.
And again, I think our intermediate level photography shows that this person was, looking for, trying to tell a story, trying to be careful with what they saw in the world, trying to capture it, looking for patterns, looking for those diagonal lines, the shadows, a very strong composition, and taking the time to look around in their immediate space to look for photographs. It's in your backyard or it's in your garage. Here it is. Look for it.
All right, moving along.
This is one for mine. This is Masters of the Air. This photographer
photographer nailed a difficult technical shot to make. The insects in flight with telephoto lens and high shutter speed. The dragonfly wings are frozen and both insects are in sharp focus. I'm sure some viewers who study insects would like this image. It's a nice title and it highlights the context. A closer crop would limit the water ripple distractions that I find, and I would place the insects off center to the left for more room on the right for some fly-in room. Unfortunately, this image was competing with other excellent intermediate class images this week, so it was in a tough group, but a very fine picture.
I would agree with what you said. I thought it was a great capture of their movement, tells a great story. I agree on the crop, also that they're a little dark. The bodies are a little dark and could use a little lightening up, but great job.
How many of you remember in the old days, there was a cartoon, two ducks flying, and it said, "Fly United"? This is it, Fly United.
I'd say that the only thing that I would want to do here again is crop in tighter. I mean, it can be a really good macro shot. It just has so much around it that has texture and stuff that draws your eyes away from the insects that are the main subject. But I think it would be a very hard shot to take.
Okay, this one's mine. Man on the Street. Love this photograph. I thought it was very strong, very impactful composition, had really good clarity. Both focal points complemented each other, the man and then the painting in the back. I thought the sharpness and the black and white added to the visual impact. The fact that it was black and white, I thought was great. Great use of complementary texture between the subjects. To me, there was very little on this that was problematic. I thought the artist just did a really, really good job. The only thing I found really was Los Muertos. The S is cut off a little bit, but that's super picky. But great job.
You want to go now?
Okay. Again, a very strong picture in terms of composition. I was also impressed by the moment that was captured for street photographers who were, looking for things, just finding that moment. And this person really did nail the moment with the look in the person's eyes. And we had an interesting conversation as judges. Was this perhaps, is there some meaning in the fact that was this an older version of the younger man in the mural, that he could be considered a survivor of a revolutionary period? That was just this part of the storytelling that a viewer can get from studying this image.
I really like this also. I think black and white was a very good choice. I think color would actually detract from it a lot. This gives me the feeling of like it could have been taken somewhere like Cuba or something. But to me, the way he's hunched over and stuff, it almost is like, it's so loud that he's flinching from the sound. So I thought that it was a neat pose and that everything about this was very nice, even though it's probably taken right here in Austin and it's very colorful, but the way it's done here is very good. Okay, this is one that I will be doing, the golden hour flyby. This is another great blue heron. I think that it's a very nice capture. It's golden hour. You can tell by the light, and the background is in shade. Here, the camera is low enough that you aren't just looking at water behind it. You see some of the environment with the rocks and things behind it. I think that the color separation helps separate the subject from the background, and then the good bouquet that the background is blurry compared to the bird, that also helps separate it well. The stuff, a few things that could help this time of year, they're not in their best plumage, so the bird doesn't look at its best. And then the others, thing is maybe it could use, if you had space, maybe have a little bit more room for it to fly into. And then if everything worked out perfectly for you, maybe a banking shot where you get more of, one wing up, down, and get the whole bird at that angle would be ideal, but this is a good shot.
Okay, I thought this was a nice sharp image. I love the definition of the wings and the body. Good sharpness in the bird's eye. Great sense of motion on this one. The background is a little distracting for me just because it kind of blends a little bit with the bird. And I kind of agree that, if it were possible to make the bird a little less centered, that would be nice. Have him have a little more room in the frame.
And, again, I thank the photographers for getting up and getting out with their equipment to take such wonderful pictures, to letting the rest of us who sleep in to study the wonderful birds in our environment. And so thank you for submitting it. It's a really nice picture.
Who's got the?
Oh, this is his windows and doors. Easy to look at image with many different points of interest for the viewer to scan. A nice composition with geometry of diagonal leading lines taking the eye back to the large pale door. Is the photographer saying waste not, want not, recycle, reuse, save the window for this old house TV show? Good choice of black and white processing. I suggest highlighting a bit more on the doors, the whiteness, to draw the viewer even more, and to correct the image tonal flatness. I suggest a less saturated black and white preset, perhaps a lighter, wider window frame in some places, and perhaps some edge vignetting, if on the left side perhaps, but a strong compositional picture that shows the geometry of this statement, this image.
I agree with the comments. I like the use of black and white. No,
Good tone,
yeah, good tonal
let
quality.
you look around.
Yeah, and maybe crop in a little on the right would be my only suggestion, but good job.
I also think that this does well with black and white because it's really all the textures that it's focusing on. I feel like it's looking at all the different types of textures almost more than that they're windows and doors, but you have all this old peeling paint and wood texture and stuff like that. So I think black and white really accentuates those kinds of things. And all right. So now you get the judges' picks. We have a gold and we have first and second place from judges. Second place went to John. Would you like to comment about it?
Thank you. This was,
No, but how did you take it?
this was in Bhutan. They have these are what they call the charm dances. And these are all monks doing this. It's amazing because this guy is probably 200 pounds. And look at the agility. This was breathtaking. And everything was just so colorful and bright. And it's a series of 7 dances. And this was called the Black Hat Dance, which is like the 4th in. And what it is it's teaching in Buddhist. It's the stages of death as you go forward. And it's teaching about what to expect through death. And if you look in the back, there's a little clown back there. They all carried phallics. So it was everything. And they were the temptress and
Yeah.
things like that. And so what they were doing is fighting them back. It was really fascinating.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, in first place, for Roger, is that
Edwards, Roger Edwards, not here. One of our newer members, I might add.
and not online either? I don't know. Okay, well, we like that picture.
Can I say something on this?
Yeah.
I do a lot of street photography and I enter a lot of contests and national contests. I haven't won anything, but this is gonna win. I mean, this is spectacular. You look at Che Rivera, and then it's kind of the stories you can tell. It's like, maybe it's communism and this guy stooped over from the exhaust. Just, the story is just unbelievable. The capture was fantastic. I think it's one of the best photos I've seen this year.
Okay, then maybe we chose right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Not
so
to give
now the
anything-
people's choice and we'll see what everyone else thought. Okay, so the bronze goes to Dave DeVore, with Golden Honor Flyby. Is Dave online now?
Yeah, I'm
Would you
here.
like to say, would you
Can
like
you
to say
hear me?
anything about this?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
We can.
Yeah, I think it's funny. Last month I had a duck taking off showing action, and the criticism was I hadn't cropped in tight enough. And then this time he's running into the wall, so I guess he can't win. But this is from my bass boat out on Lake Georgetown last month. And for the nature photographers in the group, I always try to do something that's current. So this was taken within the last 3 weeks or so. So it keeps you sharp if you're always trying to find that next one. So thanks.
Yeah, no, it's very nice. Oh. Hit the wrong direction. Silver goes to Roger. And the gold choice, and the people's choice goes to John. Yes,
Did you announce the judges selection? That was
Yes.
The people's choice?
we did
Okay,
that first,
Got it.
and then he talked about his picture.
Yeah, okay, got it. You're right.
Okay, so
People's choice. Just going
everything goes so
fast.
fast now because we got this timer.
I know it's a little.
Even the
small.
judges can't keep up. Okay, so we're
Keep
gonna
up.
go through the 4 pictures that were entered in the advanced, and then we will talk about them, and then we'll see how they fared. So,
Oh, I had this one.
no, we're not talking about yet, just
Oh.
the names.
That's right,
It's-
sorry.
Can you read it real quick?
Enjoy, just enjoy.
Cabo Morning Light. I think it's
Sam-
Sam at work. The shepherd ant with its flock. American cowboy.
Okay, so
Right.
now you can talk about it.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
Okay, Cabo Morgan Light. Oh, start me. I thought this was a beautiful photo. For me, it evokes a very strong emotion. There's nice hues of color. There's excellent capture on the starburst. The interest area was impactful for me. There's a really good contrast between the rocks and the water. The light on the beach draws your eyes to the center of attention. Just a really beautiful, serene shot, I thought. If there were any concerns, for me, the front rock is large and maybe a little distracting, and maybe a little over sharpened. And there were some, highlights around the starburst, I thought that were a little blown out by the sunburst, but I thought, great job, beautiful photo.
You want to go?
Well, this is an advanced photographer who is carefully looking for images to capture and then also go beyond just what the camera saw. I'm sure that they're adding some post-processing and sharpening and vignetting and color density. It's just a really expert level of photography, which we want to see in the advanced group. So also the meaning, the choice of the title gives us that context, and really there's hardly anything we'd improve except maybe cropping out that lower third with a more horizontal format.
I love the colors from it. The one thing that I feel like I'm seeing, and I'm not sure if it's really the way the light goes around the rocks, the vertical rocks, or if it's when it's trying to be, the sky is being darkened, that it's made the halo around those rocks. So to me, when I see that, I feel like it's that the processing has left a little bit of a halo around the rocks, but I don't know. That's what I love. I love the look of it. Okay, this is what I'm talking about. So let's see, this is
Same
an
work.
image of the whole South Austin Moonlighters band, and that's what I assume Sam is. And I feel like overall it feels a little sterile to me, and just because I don't have much around it. So the stuff that I was thinking that might be able to make some more interesting pictures with band stuff is maybe taking pictures from different angles, like an angle that gets the lead singer and the drummer and just has that background with all the hexagons, that could be very interesting. Or getting angles where you're looking up, that it's not just like just looking straight on at the band. And then the other thing that it feels like here is maybe you could get something that has some audience, because it almost feels like I can't tell if they're playing to an audience or not. And so having pictures, but I'm sure that there are probably many other pictures that include all of that. I just think that a more powerful picture might show some of these other parts of the whole performance.
I thought there was great color in this, and capture of the movement, and it did convey, I thought, a strong story. For me, the lights at the very top were a little distracting, so I probably would have cropped those, but good job.
Right, and I agree with Ty in terms of, at this level of photography, we would encourage, the different angles, a more creative expression. The kind of music photography that you see often is much more dynamic and close up, but it is a good photo, very technically well done with great composition. Just would like to see more creativity.
Yeah, I got cut off because of the time, but all the focus and the lighting and all that stuff is really good. Technically, all of that is really good.
Capturing the lighting and the
Okay.
good. Okay, this is a shepherd ant with its flock. Now, the first time you take a quick look at it, it's a stunning, sharp macro image of a mother ant in all its brown, hairy details. I applaud the technical skills of the photographer to capture this micro photo. It's helpful to know that this is a shepherd ant, and the title creates a story and provides a context for the small insects underneath it, which I wondered if that is food or babies, but I was told it's food. So nice blurry green color background complements the brown ants. For viewers who don't like insects, perhaps it does increase their wonder and awe for the variety of life's many forms. A strong composition, except for an out of focus ant head at the bottom, and the lower center blocks some of the small insects, and it's a slightly distracting element.
Great. I thought this told a wonderful story. There was great use of light and color. I love the reflection at the back end of the ant. Like you, the only distraction I had was that kind of out of focus ant in front, but had to be a really tough picture to get. And I thought the artist did a really good job.
I won't comment.
Okay, this one's mine, American Cowboy. So I thought this told a wonderful story and really had a nice emotional impact. There was good capture of movement and motion. I did have some issues with, with the bison. They weren't really separated, and to me, it kind of portrayed a big solid dark mass. So I had a little bit of an issue with that. I thought the front rider could have been brightened a little bit. And the rear horizon was a little distracting for me too. But loved the story, and thought I thought it had great emotional impact.
And everything that Leslie just said, and it was an iconic image, American Cowboy with the flag. You couldn't miss that. And it is a nice composition, and we had a category once called Iconic Texas. It could also go in there very well. So great photo for the open category. Well done.
I think it's a nice photo. I do also wish that there was some detail in the bison. You know, it seems like there's enough light, you could have detail in, you know, that you could see some of their faces and stuff. The background, oop, I didn't start. Okay. Sorry. The background, I feel like there's a lot of space because the American flag sticks up and you can't cut that off. So maybe if there was a way that when it was taken, if the American flag were a little lower, you could maybe not have as much background that's captured, which doesn't add to the picture nearly as much as the cowboy against the bison. Okay. Oh, that was it. All right, so now the judge's choice was the ants. Okay. So just so that you know, I found this ant and all these are aphids. And the aphids are not their food directly. They actually take care of the aphids and they get sort of a nectar from the aphids. So the aphids feed the ants and the ants protect the aphids. So it really is like a shepherd with its flock of aphids. And that was what I was trying to sort of get at. And of course, ants are everywhere trying to protect it. And so you get other ants in the background and the foreground. And
Were you shooting through in a glass aquarium? Were you?
no, this is
outdoors
just
in the
out,
garden?
just out.
With your tripod?
No,
and
just
camera?
by hand and at an odd angle. This is actually upside down.
So
'cause
this is
they're
why
hanging
we
upside down.
appreciate our advanced level
So-
work. Yes, good job.
Yeah,
But that's
that's what that is. Oh, I have many others that are not. That's part of macro. There's many that are not, and you choose the one that's
They're
good.
moving, right? They're all alive. You
They're
didn't-
moving, but use a flash. I use a flash. I use a macro lens. I have a flash diffuser, and that's why you get that bright light reflected off of its abdomen. But I got his eyes in focus and everything. So, okay, and so now for the People's Choice Awards. Bill, would you like to comment on your picture? The Sam
Bill
Burke.
Burton, ladies and gentlemen.
Photograph of a band that I follow. And I shoot images for them to use periodically. And this is an image they really like because it's the whole band and the background. I also shoot close up hands and motion, but this is what the images of the bands are striking.
And they'd want a stage shot like this, yes.
I didn't,
They would like a stage shot that's good for publicity and
yes.
and all that. So that's what it was good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Okay, so that was bronze. So silver, Dennis.
Yay, Dennis.
So this is taken in Cabo, Mexico, right close to the Land's End. And I've been down there several times and I've always got up early in the morning to take a shot here. And the sun moves from here to here, so you never know, depending on the time of year you're there, you'll get the shot. But this time I happened to get the light starburst. And that was my challenge, is that getting that burst right, but made the rocks darker than I really wanted, and I had to highlight it a little bit, and I think that's what causes a little bit of the outline. But the light does come around that big rock there a little bit. But
In landscape photography, they often talk and advise getting something near and focused as well as far. Were you concentrating on getting that boulder in there? Or?
Yeah.
Or
well,
did-
I had it on like f/22. You know, you got to really pump up to get a starburst, and then lowering the ISO down to like 50, you know, or something like that.
Was there processing that you did afterwards to?
Oh yeah,
A lot?
a
Okay.
little bit of processing.
We
Yeah.
just want to check. Yeah.
All right, and the People's Choice was my aunt also. And thank you. Okay, so this is unusual. Right now, I think I actually have all the judges. Gary had 2 that he told me they were going to do the next one, and I got a 3rd one. So right now, I think I actually don't need judges for the next one, but I've got one backup in case someone backs out. These are 2 blank ones that were waiting just to put stuff in if I needed to. And so is there any other business? We've gone through this faster than normal by using timing and by having less images, less images, but timing, was that, do you think that was okay to do it that way?
I just wanted to make a statement. You know, we're going to have this Juster gallery over in the Round Rock buildings. And right now, the Round Rock image creators have their display up. It's very impressive. So I would encourage everybody to go look at their photos and see how everything's arranged. But some of the photographers in Round Rock image creators are also in this group. So you can go and see their display. It's open until we take over. So,
Oh, it's open until a couple of hours before ours go up.
right.
And Gary and Carol Schiraldi and Mary Day
Patrick.
Young all have images
And Patrick
hanging out.
Sensen.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know all the group.
Patrick did the one with the American cowboy, which reminded me to say something about the group.
Do you want the microphone? Hand the microphone.
Sorry.
On the timer, maybe extend the main judge to 1:15. A minute didn't seem quite long enough.
Okay, say that one more time. I was switching to my other hat now. I'm
for
the
the-
presenter's hat.
For the timer for the
Yes.
judges, maybe extend the main judge to 1:15. A minute didn't seem quite long enough.
Okay. Yeah, so, yeah, this was just a first attempt and I was just trying to think about how long it takes when we normally have 22 pictures that we would be able to keep things moving smoothly, but that's good feedback and I will try to do that.
On the show, I've had a couple of pretty technical questions on images and how to get them mounted. So if you're having any issues, send me an email. We'll schedule a Zoom meeting. That way we can see what's on your screen or what's on my screen, and I'll help you work through it.
Since we're done early, oh, thanks. That was not supposed to be seen. If there's anyone here that had a picture that was in here and would like to talk about it, we could go back to it and you could comment on your own picture if you'd like. It was just an idea of. No, Arlie, you don't want to talk about your picture? Anyone want to talk about? Sure. Okay, I'm going to just go back to one of Arlie's pictures.
Intermediate picture. Intermediate. Go to the.
I'm just backing up.
Okay.
There. This is one of the photos I took on a photo walk. There in Georgetown are several, what are they called? You know, stores where you can, antique stores or stores that they want to get rid of their stuff. And so there it is. So this was an alleyway of just all this collection of windows and doors. And I was actually practicing with bracketing. And so I did one in color, I did one in sepia, and I did one in black and white. And I kind of liked the black and white the most. I did enhance the white a little bit. I just didn't want to overblow it. So, but it's cool to go on the photo walks because, yeah, you get to see some cool stuff that you probably wouldn't have done by yourself. So,
I think another thing about photo walks is that it gets you out of your comfort zone and you do things that you don't normally do. So I like going to photo walks, and I also have used them to just try something different, like that I'd go with only a 28mm lens, and then I'm going to just do everything with that. And I'm scared of street photography. I'd rather be really far away with a long lens at animals. And so going and doing this kind of stuff just exposes you to more things. And we have them often once or twice a month.
And not to mention, you get to meet other people and have a social aspect of getting to know your friends. And yeah, I mean, it's been great that Gary has been organizing them with Round Rock image creators, because we get to know those people as well. So it's kind of cool.
Is there anyone else that would like to comment on theirs? Would you like to comment on, you have one in here, right? And you have one, would you like to?
The dragonflies. So I spent basically 2 days out on Divine Lake trying to capture these dragonflies. And the challenge really is even, well, with a long lens, is that these things are moving so fast that even at high shutter speeds, if they come too close to you, they just become blurs because they're moving so fast. And typically when I'm shooting macro stuff, I try to do my cropping in camera and not in post. And so this is cropped a bit, just so that you can actually see the dragonflies a little more closely. But typically I wouldn't crop this anymore because that's just the way I like to do my photos.
Okay. Your photos, you do them the way you want.
One of my
Okay.
favorite things on that photo, if you look close, if you go in, the back one has his hand up. Literally, you see the little fingers around the tail of the other one. It's really neat. Yeah, I like it.
Would you like to talk about yours? No? Does anyone else have a picture that was in here that would like to just give a little bit of background on it? All right. Well,
Where's the buffalo? We don't know where the buffalo picture was taken.
Pat, you said Patrick took that?
And I would think it was taken in South Dakota,
Okay.
because I know he was going up there, I know he was taking a picture of the buffalo roundup,
Okay.
so I feel that that's where that from was.
But he's not here to tell us.
Link to that this year, and they got up, they got there the night before and slept in their car, so they could be the first people in the game, because they were expecting 20,000 people.
Wow.
It was like, I wouldn't do it, sorry. So they,
Oh, and one other thing, I think the Austin Powwow is coming up sometime in early November. It's a great place to get photographs of Native Americans in full costumes, dancing and all that kind of stuff. And they don't really have issues, as long as you're respectful, taking photographs of them. It's a massive thing. It's really worth it.
When is that?
Okay.
show?
The Austin Powwow.
Oh, yeah.
Austin Powell.
Early November.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, two things to finish us up. First of all, it is October's. We are going to be looking for the December social meeting and working with Bill to figure out if we're going to do it here or someplace else. But it's always a really nice thing. We ask people to bring something to share. The club usually has some main dish, and basically it's a social get together. The second thing is, as we come to the end of the year, we want to encourage anyone to consider themselves to be in the leadership role. We've got president, vice president, we have 3 standing committees for program, competition, and membership. No, for membership. Anyway, Ty, for example, is our competition coordinator. I'm the membership person and the secretary, that's the other office. So please, this is a volunteer club. We depend on getting new input. And of course, even if you don't want to be an officer, our standing committees are volunteers, like for people that volunteer to be judging and offering critiques. So don't be shy. We're a great group of people and we enjoy our fellowship, but we also need leadership. So thank you very much, and back to Bill.
Just one thought. I think by default, we'll have our Christmas party here. This is a nice sized room. We get a little bigger crowd for Christmas. So I expect it'll be here. That's not a guarantee, but high probability.
Right. So just be thinking about those things, leadership, as well as the social meeting in December. We have the November competition, and thank you, Ty, for being our competition coordinator.
Okay, so tomorrow you can start getting your pictures in for the next competition, the one in the wild, and you can start submitting ones to the Happy Joy People's Choice Award. You can start doing both of those. The People's Choice Award will be awarded at the holiday party in December.
Deadline in the wild.
The In the Wild is going to be our November one. What are you
What's the
asking?
deadline? So
It's in the email that I sent him.
I don't know. It's a couple weeks.
Okay.
Usually and I'll send out an email just before before it has to be in, and then the judges will judge from after that. Okay? All right. Thanks, everyone.